In this video, we're going to go through the photo menu options, specifically the ones that relate to photos on the Panasonic S1R. I'm not really going to explain in detail what each setting means, but I wanted to make sure people had a video where they could see basically the options you get for photos. And I'll do another video later on that shows the options you get for video recording. So let's jump in. On the photo menu, you've got photo style, standard, vivid, natural, flat, landscape, portrait, monochrome, all monochrome. Still have Cine Light DMV, like 709, and some custom settings. Metering mode. Aspect ratio. Your picture quality fine, standard raw fine, raw standard raw. Picture size. You can see with the 16:9 aspect ratio, those are the options you get. So let's go back out. Choose 4:3. Now let's see what we get. Large 41.5, medium 21, 10.5 on small. Back, just a comparison again. 39.5 megapixel for the large. So there is a difference in the aspect ratio and how many megapixels you'll get based on that. Back. High resolution mode. So the S1R has capability of doing a 180 megapixel photo. Once you hit start, you would hear it actually take multiple photos using pixel shift. And on here, you're able to set the delay. And you got various modes for motion blur. Noise reduction for long exposure. ISO sensitivity. Minimum shutter speed. Dynamic range on or off. Vignetting compensation. Diffraction compensation. Filter effects. Custom setting photo. AF assist light or off. Focus peaking. Get your flash options. Wireless options. Bracketing on or off. Silent mode. Stabilization. So you get this option. I did a video previously where I was walking around at a battleship park and you could see how bad moving around was in the video, but as soon as I pressed the shutter button halfway, you could see it stabilize. So I do have an example of that in another video. I'll link to it in the description below. Currently I have it set to always, which I no longer have a need to do the half shutter since I showed that in the previous video. You should be able to actually save a little bit of battery if you set that to half shutter. If you're using it for photos and not video, or a combination of the two, you can simply set it to half shutter, and as soon as you press the button halfway down, IBIS kicks in. You would be able to save a little bit of battery by using that. There's your options for your shutter type, shutter delay, teleconverter on or off, timer, flicker decrease, base focus, and that's pretty much it for the photo settings. So let's go down to some of the standard settings. I'll do one for video and another YouTube video later on. Photo style settings, ISO increments, extended IS on or off, focus shutter priority, some options there, focus assist. Guide and measurements is set to feet. I'm in the US, or I guess the rest of the world would choose meters. Shutter press, focus, eye sensor. I was taking photos of people. I turn it on, but I don't typically do that. So it should be setting what all is locked whenever you flip the switch. There's a switch on the back of the camera on the left side, and once you flip it to lock, all the buttons on the back basically are locked out, so you can't accidentally press something. For instance, the joystick, I have a problem when I initially got the camera where I was actually hitting the joystick by accident when I was looking through the viewfinder or EVF, and it would kind of mess up my autofocus area. It would shift it. I ended up having to go to the lock switch it on, and I no longer had that problem once I did that. But this lets you set what's locked when you flip that switch. So this is for the dial on the back right side of the camera. I don't have framing outline set. I don't really need it on this camera. If I did a little more video recording with the camera, I probably would turn it on. But right now, the grid lines work fine for me. Center marker on or off. I have it off because I don't want too much clutter on the LCD screen or EVF. I do want the autofocus area to be displayed. The reason for that is the issues I had initially with bumping the joystick. I wanted to make sure that when I looked at it, I could see whether or not I've shifted it. But I started using that lock button, so I don't really need that anymore. Card format options. You can also set the function of each card slot. You can also choose if you want if you're shooting JPEG plus RAW, you can choose to have JPEGs go to one card, RAW to another, or you can have them both go to the same card. I have video destination and basically card 2, which is my SD card. The SD card is a Angelbird V90 card. So that's where I want the video recordings to go. I want my photos, all of them, to actually go to my SQD card. In this camera I have a Sony SQD card, 120 gig card. Regarding the card, I'll note while we're mentioning it, the Sony SQD card is not super fast. Maybe the Delcam brand or some other brand card might be, but I've noticed that when shooting RAW plus JPEG, I feel the buffer really quick on this camera. This camera is supposed to have so many photos per second, and I can't reach that max with RAW plus JPEG when writing to the SQD card. It's too slow at writing. So just a side note, if you're looking for an SQD card, one of the other brands may be a little bit faster. There you go. You set the names of the folders plus the initial part of the file name. Set your file numbers, copyright information. So you would set your name, copyright holder. So where you would set that. Display that. See, it has both. Should write that into the metadata of each file. monitor frame rate, EVF frame rate. If you drop these down to 30 frames per second, you're going to save some battery life. Set different tones, headphone volume. Should be able to turn Wi-Fi on and off here. Set it up. Bluetooth as well. I don't have the battery grip attached to this. If I do buy a battery grip for this, it will be the Panasonic version. On my GH5, I have a battery grip for it, but I've got an off-brand for that. Recently, Panasonic came out with a updated version of the firmware for the S1 as well as the S1R. I've downloaded it, but I have not installed it yet. Custom menu that you can set for shortcuts, so you don't have to go through all the menus to find what you need. You should be able to set them here. You've got multiple ones that you can create, multiple pages, and that's about it. That's the photo menu and some of the additional settings. As I mentioned before, I'll do another video and go through the video recording menu so you can see the options you have there. There won't be any need to go through the additional settings that we went through in this video. I'll just reference it in the other video. But anyway, that's the basic options you get with version 1.0 with the firmware. 1.1 I believe is the version that's currently out, and what additional options you get, I'm not sure yet. I haven't really looked at that, but I will be checking that out and hope to do another video, especially one with the video settings. Anyway, I hope to do another video, have that out for you on the video options you have, and we'll go from there. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. If you subscribe, please click the bell icon. It'll give you notifications of new videos coming out. Also, if you haven't dropped a comment yet, feel free to comment below. Constructive comments are definitely welcome, and I read all of those. And in addition to that, if you like the video, consider giving it a like. Anyway, everyone have a good day.